welcome to the second Guf Half K.
All right, good morning, everyone. We're your casters today. I'm Dan Gumby Smith.
And I am Lincoln single female lawyer Johnston.
Yes, fighting for his clients. We're just about to kick off here in the first round. We've got a pretty interesting feature match first up. We're looking at a very, very interesting Geargia deck versus a fairly standard Gravekeeper's deck. So we thought we'd start with something a little bit interesting. All right, we'll jump straight into it. Looks like they're shuffling up now.
All right, so Dan, why don't you take us through what makes this Giga deck particularly interesting?
Well, it's a fairly standard Giga core, so you've got like the arsenals, armors, accelerators, and augurs. And then there's a little bit of spicy flavor as you keep going. We've got
like some spice.
Yeah, we've got one tin goldfish, an ancient gear box.
The box, you say?
The box.
The box.
And then there's also a sweet little machine engine as well. So there's gear frames, fortresses, and megaforms.
And megaforms.
Yeah, so this is one of the newer cards from next challenges.
The box.
So the box basically means you can add the box of any of your Giga cards, then use the box's effect to add a card, and it basically means you go +1. The +1 is a weird, useless box, but at the same time, +1s are +1s.
Is he playing discard traps to utilize the +1s?
No.
See, that's kind of interesting to me.
But he is running the machine engine, I guess, so he can discard the box and a fortress to summon the
fortress.
fortress.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually, yeah.
And then you also have the trade-in engine there as well. He's running 3 trade-ins, so he can discard
those. For the megaforms?
And the fortress as well, I guess. Like,
well, fortress is 7, right?
Is he?
I'm pretty sure fortress is 7.
No, because isn't the whole thing you have to discard 7 levels worth of, or 8 levels worth of monsters?
I always remember making big eyes with fortress.
No, that's right. It is 7.
Yeah.
So
megaform's a pretty interesting card. From what I've been talking about, talking to Kevin with this deck, it's kind of megaform takes the place of the old one-off machine of force or machine of cannon as just your searchable discard to summon the whole guy. But when you do that, when your fortress dies, you get your megaform back, and then
you can tribute the megaform.
You can tribute the megaform to summon another fortress, I think.
Yeah, from your handle deck. So that's kind of cool. And
it's certainly strictly better than cannon.
Yeah, and obviously being able to like discard it with trading as well just lets him draw through and see a few more of those cards. That's
pretty good.
Nice.
So here he seems to be starting with a Giga Accelerator. Sorry, Giga Arsenal.
Oh, it's that was a commandant for a Necro Valley, I believe.
Man, I am blind.
The blindest man in the world. Alright, so Santa Gravekeeper's play, set a monster, set 3. We're probably assuming that's a spy, or maybe even a guard or a recruiter. But probably a spy. Hopefully a spy.
Spy would make the most sense. I remember from when I was glancing over at your deck, Kevin appears to be playing triple Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. He is
maining triple Shadow Imprisoning Mirror and also maining a Soul Drain. So the Soul Drain, not so great in this matchup, other than I guess for the recruiter plays. But that main deck Shadow Imprisoning Mirror could be really, really awesome in this matchup.
It is going to do him a lot of work. And we see here Kevin starting off just by summoning a gear frame, and did he pass the turn without setting any back row?
Well, I think he's just considering whether or not to swing at what is probably a spy.
You've got to imagine. So it appears he has a fortress in hand that he's wondering about dropping like we're hot.
It's a very real play. He has a megaform in hand as well. I think he searched one of those cards off the gear frame. So it's like gear frame just becomes like a super stress when you're running that many cards with the machine in aim. Like, you can basically either search the fortress, or if you have a fortress engrave, you can just search the megaform, discard it, get your fortress back.
Get your fortress back, yeah. And when your fortress dies, your megaform comes back, gets you another fortress.
Like, the whole thing with cannon is you'd never run multiples to be able to do that, because by running multiples of cannon, like, the cannon doesn't do anything on its own.
The card's quite poor.
Yeah, so at least this guy, you can, like, he has some sort of use outside of that effect. And also you can trade in him as well.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So here's the recruiter and the descendant, so he gets to pop card, search card, which is kind of good.
Nice little bit of value right there.
Just targeting blind into the back row.
As you do.
Ooh, Fiendish Chain.
Fiendish Chain.
That's good. It'll save his gear from being destroyed by battle as well. Hooray. Jono is very, very reluctant to have a feature match, as it turns out. But we will force him to at some point, because,
absolutely,
let's be honest, Juan Ritzau's not getting out of here alive without some sort of feature.
So you should try and get all of his American boys to bully him into getting a feature match.
Yeah, make sure you're just texting him, messaging him constantly. If a Jono versus Scotty Jones feature match round comes up, then that's 100% getting
100% going on camera.
Yeah, there's no way
it's
that's not
going
happening.
to be glorious.
Yeah. So we do have the Scotty Jones here today. We also have defending champion from the last Guf Half K, Ashoka.
We also have ourselves Papa Hadrell, the Grease Man himself. coming back, hopefully not losing out on resistance again, coming 9th.
That's fine. We can always go for the live cast of him watching on DN. That seems like an interesting alternate cast. Oh, he makes the gig in, but he has the compulsory evacuation.
He has the
device.
evac. So does
great.
Kevin play any anti-trap back row in his deck? Does he have any trap stuns or anything like that?
No, not at all.
I mean, I suppose you have to fit the machiners in somewhere, right?
And he's also main decking all the floodgates as well. So
Seems
I
like a
suppose,
good decision.
yeah, I suppose he's basically just hoping he'll shut down his opponent so hard that it won't matter if they occasionally just kill his Gigan. Unfortunately, being like the newer style Geargia decks tend to not run as many of the little gears that you can get back with the Gigant when it leaves the field.
Absolutely,
so you make a little bit less value out of that.
Is he playing a Geargia?
No, not at all.
That seems interesting. To not even play the one little Geargia.
So he's taking a hit from the recruiter. Whoa. Player cam down. Alright.
Alright.
So we seem to have moved into the standard Geargia matchup of lots of back row versus lots of back row. So it'll be interesting to see if their strange monster effects can break through. So just discarding the Megaform, grabbing the Fortress. It's a good move for Kevin. Puts a big beater on the field. And obviously, the good thing is the Gravekeeper deck really doesn't have a way to get rid of Fortress without triggering one of its two effects.
Yeah, not efficiently. I mean, I'm just going to search Fortress real quick. It's when it's targeted by a monster effect, you get to
look at their hand, discard
confiscation them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if it's destroyed by battle, you get to destroy a card on the field. So destroyed by card effect while not targeting with a monster effect, like spells and traps, it's super vulnerable to. But
Absolutely.
Most of the Gravekeeper removal in this case seems to be he's going to be relying on that Descendant a lot to be like popping cards.
Yeah, and that's just going to... We have the Soul Drain to shut down the Recruiter.
That's excellent.
Got to get them fun obs in your deck.
So his opponent just kind of like, alright, cool. He's main decking that card apparently. No worries. It's always great when you're in game one and your opponent just flips a clearly side deck card against you.
Yeah, it's excellent, especially when... I mean, he's clearly got this in for the Burning Abyss and Shadow matchups, and you just get the splash damage from playing Gravekeepers from the main deck triple Shadow Imprisoning Mirror.
I mean, this is the Sam Pedigo strategy. Like, he won... this is in Italy.
The one with where he main decked like 12 floodgates in the Dragon Roller format?
He was playing Dragon Roller format, and he was basically just playing the Geargia engine as like a deck that he could play where he could jam 12 floodgates and like it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and even if you don't open the floodgates, you can just kill him dead with the Karakuris, which is nice.
So Kevin probably about to lose his Machine of Fortress to a D prison.
Yeah, well, he has no spell trap prevention in his deck.
Bit annoying for him. It does mean that obviously it stops that that loop with like the Megaform isn't able to summon itself.
In saying that though, wouldn't the Soul Drain sort of put a damper on the Megaform plans?
Probably, but I'm guessing he's basically assuming that if he's going to flip the Soul Drain, it's probably going to hurt his opponent more than him.
Oh, I would assume so, yes.
Like against Shadows, you'd be like, oh no, I can't machine a Megaform and they can't do anything.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. So like he's Floodgate Central at this point, but it's the old Satellarknight issue of setting 5 back row, having heaps of floodgates, sitting pretty.
And then they just beat you down with essentially 2,000 attack vanillas.
Yeah, that's it.
Gene Warped getting in there.
Doesn't matter if your monster does anything. If it has 1,500 attack and your opponent doesn't have a monster, you just get in there. Interesting to see what this is. Being a bit of like a Geargia cram everything else type of deck, it's kind of like that could be an armor, that could be like an accelerator that he's just set. He could have just like set the tin plate goldfish because he drew it really dead.
Yep,
He's sad about it.
or the box.
Or the box.
Always take the box. It's kind of interesting where he's made room for the Machina engine in his deck. It's a maxi. This puts Kevin in quite a poor position then.
Just passes without playing a monster. Yep, there's another Descendant.
And the vanilla beats coming in.
Yep.
Torrential?
Bottomless.
Bottomless.
Torrential would have been nice.
Would have been quite strong, yes. Flips himself an Ice Hand. So that means, well, he doesn't actually main deck any spell and trap removal other than the Ice Hands. He's not completely dead to the Sims if they get flipped, which is definitely good for Derek here.
Yeah, although obviously in this case he has the Sim and the Soul Drain, so
yeah,
it's still pretty good. Then again, Kevin's on 500 life points, and I imagine we're about to see that guy, the cowboy. Yep,
The good old
there we go,
cowboy.
scooping up game 2. So looking at the side decks, interestingly, Kevin is also side decking 2 Puppet Plant, which will be pretty good in this matchup. And also a Full House, which could be really very good.
That'll get him there. I
Oh,
feel.
Yeah.
Kevin's bringing some serious hate in here.
Yeah, there's
Even Fairywind just to get rid of the Necro Valley is very solid.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those. You've gone, oh, I'll play Gravekeepers. It's a bit rogue. It'll be fine. But by virtue of being a
Dark
deck,
Spellcaster deck.
yeah, a
Yeah,
dark
there's
deck of spellcasters, it's kind of like, oh, okay, so like all the stuff people are packing for Shadows and Burning Abyss
Yep.
all just kind of work against you as well.
And pretty much from looking over at Derek's side, he doesn't really have much to do except for counter-siding. He's got an extra copy of Fire and Ice Hand to bring 3/3. He's got 3 spaced MSTs, a Twister. Maybe even Macro would be good here to shut down the Machiners and the sort of graveyard recursion that he has there.
Yeah, I mean other than the arsenals, the accelerators and like the megaforms and fortresses, that's kind of like the only things that get hit by macro. Like,
Absolutely.
he can still definitely just go for the old beat 'em play, but macro could be cute.
Macro could definitely be cute. It stops you searching with the box more than once.
True.
I mean,
The
that's where a
box.
lot of the late game from the Giga came from, was just guy getting back all your stuff from the graveyard.
The
So-
box.
I'll be disappointed if this game ends without seeing the box.
Alright, so signing up for game 2. It's always good to start off with a bit of an interesting match like this one, I feel. It's always cool when people are willing to bring really, really like off-the-wall decks to premier events. To bigger events, bigger tournaments, higher stakes sort of stuff. Like I actually think this Machina box deck is really, really cute, especially with all the main deck floodgates.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think maybe Kevin could have gone a little more in on the box and maybe played some Wind Blasts in the deck, but then if you don't get an Augur or a way to get to the box, the Wind Blast can be really dead. So I can definitely see his logic there, but he has really gone all in on the Machina. Half of it, playing 9 Machina monsters in total.
It also just seems like a lot of it is like the Machina deck seems like it's one of those, yep, cool, this is my Machina game plan. In theory, it works for these reasons. The Gravekeeper strategy, though, is very, very consistent, very, very tried and tested. Like, it's, people laugh about the old Necro Valley sets by set 4, but, like, that's a very, very strong opening.
Yeah, that's going to get you there.
And it works, like, the vast majority of the time, because you're normally setting either Aspire or Recruiter.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, there's no combo pieces, really. It's just any Gravekeeper, Necro Valley,
You just
some amount
efficiently
of aggro.
attrition them down, start maybe locking them down a little bit with Necro.
Yeah. It's funny, the way Gravekeepers are playing right now makes it seem way more like traditional Geargia than the actual Geargia deck.
Yeah.
Like, the old set your flip effect monster, set 3.
So here
So
we
got the
go with
trade-in.
Kevin with the trade-in synergies.
Oh, just Stratosing for the Mega form.
The old Stratos Family to D-Draw.
Yep, I believe that deck was
It's,
called Telidad.
It's basically the same thing, right?
Yeah, this deck is exactly Telidad.
Yep.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
And he passes without attacking into the monster.
Probably has a set breakthrough or Fiendish to stop the spy.
Yeah, that definitely seems like
Or
it.
just doesn't want to get wrecked by the Recruiter.
Yep, so he flips the Recruiter.
Summons the
the
Descendant.
Oh, Solemn Warning.
Do we have a wiretap?
He
We
does
do.
indeed.
Savage.
That always hurts. Nothing worse than just paying 2,000 life points for fun. Because that's what it is. It's fun.
It's good old fashioned fun.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we see the Descendant tributing the Recruiter, targeting back row.
Targeting back row indeed.
It's odd that he seems to be going through back row so much. Oh, that's the
That's
full
the
house.
full house. He only had
Oh.
one of those, right? Oh, no, he has two.
No, he side decks 2. Whether he would have side decked in both copies, I don't know. So we go searching for the Necro Valley. So we'll be able to get over that the gear frame, but not quite the fortress at this stage.
I mean, I'm assuming Derek probably has like a deep prison or something set to deal with.
it looks like it might be a Fairy Wind,
to deal with the fortress,
which would be really funny.
It would be quite solid.
Yeah, so I think if he attacks,
It's gonna be good for Kevin if he goes to attack the 18 and in response to the attack,
just Fairy Winds
just
him.
Fairy Winds him. The old MST you're equipped in
Hey,
response to
we're
your
in.
attack. Get him.
So both players take 300, then he takes 300 from the attack, and his guy straight dies. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 use of Fairy Wind.
Yeah,
Good
it's odd that Fairy
card.
Wind has sort of just become like almost a pseudo dust tornado. Like it just people are just using it to just kill phase up things. Like not even I'm gonna blow you out by like knocking off 3 cliff forts. Just,
Yeah, I mean, with the blowout potential is the reason you play it, but even just using it as a 1-for-1 is totally fine.
Yeah, like you have a Vanity's Emptiness, Fairy Wind. All right, now I can just make my plays. That's
Yeah.
fine.
It's really handy.
Searches for the other Necro Valley. Good. Did he somehow not destroy the Descent by Battle?
Maybe he didn't do it in response to the attack.
That is possible. If so, that seems incorrect.
I agree. It does seem incorrect.
So this is where he's lost his fortress to a deep prison once. It's really a question of if he's game to just swing in again.
Absolutely.
It's really a question of like if he can afford to lose it, I guess. If he can't, then he can just sit on it. Because even to kill it, Derek's going to have to target it with a Descendant, basically. And it means he gets to confiscation him. Assuming he has cards in hand, which he currently does.
Which he currently doesn't. Yeah, that's the thing. He can just
He
become.
just-
He can just set his hand, go
Just normal
hellbent.
summon an armor.
He is just normal summoning an armor.
Oh, straight into the Torrential.
That torrential is pretty savage.
Damn.
Pretty savage indeed.
Reads Necro Valley. Pretty
So-
sure he can still summon the Mega Form, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Necro Valley reads.
It basically says a card can't move a card from anywhere else.
Yeah, unless it's by its own effect.
He chooses not to, or is it possible he just doesn't think he can?
As he had Sim,
Oh, he
which
did.
gets end phase Typhoon. And now we just have the old vanilla beats coming in.
Yep, 1700. You're top decking. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you again and again. Even 2 macro is like heaps when you're top decking.
Especially if he just summons Augur and it gets breakthrough skilled and he has a 500 attack vanilla. Fire hand straight at the top to add even more pressure.
Just getting in with
Putting
some
Kevin on
dudes.
the old 2-turn clock.
Getting in with some dudes. Alright, down to 700 life points. It better be good. Better be real good. Oh, hand shuffles.
Doesn't seem great.
Doesn't seem great at all.
And we have an arsenal.
No, it's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
It's as big as the Recruiter. You can like just tribute it to pop an armor face down.
I'm assuming that has to be the play here.
I mean, I see no real reason why Derek didn't just make a Gaga Cowboy last turn, but
Yeah.
is Recruiter level 3?
It is, right?
Yeah, okay, that would make sense.
That generally can't overlay with level 3 and level 4.
Look, why you Chet? Yep, flips it face down. Good. Pray he doesn't draw a level 4 monster. Pray harder, boy. No. Well, it's
Well,
another Recruiter. Oh,
Another recruiter.
he can just
Ooh.
make like
Rank 3 stacking up.
he can make like an Alucard, right? Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
that'll do it.
I will definitely do it.
Is that back row or is that just a card in his hand?
I assume it's just a card in his hand. Yep,
And
that's the
there
handshake.
is the handshake.
So we went an entire match without seeing the box.
Quite disappointed. Quite disappointed that we did not at all see the box.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing. Still good to start off with an unconventional deck. We'll see if we can get these guys in here for an interview shortly. Seems like a good plan to me. I'm very, very curious to hear Derek's logic as to why he chose to play
Gravekeepers.
Gravekeepers in a meta dominated by Dark decks. Alright. I will go and investigate the possibility of an interview.
Alright, go right
While
ahead.
these boys decide.
Interview coming in?
Yeah.
Very good. I'll step on up.
Cool. So we'll get Derek in here for an interview. Lovely.
Here, dude, watch the cables. It's kind of...
Hello, Derek. Welcome to the stream. Just there you go. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Just dandy.
Good, good. Well, you've won your first round, so that's definitely a good start.
Yeah.
So a couple of questions about the deck. First of all, why did you choose Gravekeepers?
Basically, I have no other deck worth playing at the moment.
That's always a very good choice. If you've only got one deck, you generally play that one deck.
I've got a lot of decks, but they're not playable.
Yep, that's fair. So it's a fairly sort of stock standard build. Lots of back row. It seems like you opened fairly well both games as well. You sort of always had the either the spy or the recruiter, and then like quite a few back row as well. So
Yeah.
I'd say you'd be pretty happy with the way your match went down. You're main decking 2 copies of each hand.
Yeah.
So how do you feel the hands work for you in the deck?
They are pretty good, and it's basically the only thing I can do against Cliff Forts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like them, but basically best level 4s in a game at the moment.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, even against something like obviously Kevin was main decking the Soul Drain and the Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, which isn't great for you.
Yeah.
I mean the Fire Hand and the Ice Hand definitely give you an out to at least the Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, not so much the Soul Drain, which is kind of good. So how do you feel that you're going to do, considering that you're playing a deck that's predominantly dark monsters in a meta where almost everyone is siding Shadow Imprisoning Mirror? Are you concerned about that?
I'm pretty concerned about it, but there's not much I can do about it.
That's fair. I mean,
I've got a triple Y tap fit, got an Ice Hands to have an outfit.
yeah, and I mean you've even got a full house inside as well. So
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of your siding strategy is going to be counter siding. Like
Yeah.
if your opponent's running a lot of back row, just make sure you're siding in those MSTs and stuff. Make sure you hit those Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors and stuff like that. So seems pretty solid. All right, good. Well, yeah, interesting to hear Logic playing the deck and the couple of cards you made. Hopefully do well for the rest of the tournament.
Thanks.
Cheers, man. Have a good day. All right, cool. Well, that's the end of the round 1 feature stream. We will be back shortly with